Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. If you would like to support this channel, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called HR Assumptions. HR sent me an email after I had mentioned that I have been having pain that affects my ability to work in the office. HR sent me an email after I had mentioned that I have been having pain that affects my ability to work in the office and have been using regular painkillers to treat it. They emailed me, assuming that I was on narcotics or prescribed other medications, and told me that I am forced to take a sick day if I'm taking medication that messes with rational thought. I'd run out of sick days and it would be an unpaid day instead. They then told me that medications need to be evaluated by them and my manager to deem it alright for the work that I do. I sit at a computer and copy and paste information essentially. I took nothing more than regular ibuprofen, but their assumptions led them to a tangent of legal jargon and what my taking medication could do. So I looked into our company guidelines. I also recently started medication for a newly diagnosed disease. And one medication, the side effect states that it can mess with rational thought. So I write back, asking for the list of medications to make sure I'm complying with company policy, since they said there was a list. Followed with, and here are other medications that I'm on. Please evaluate them. Since they highlighted that they needed to evaluate my medication and what it does. I complied so heavily that I revealed a diagnosis I didn't care to share with them, as well as my list of medications. They replied back with, "We don't have a list to provide you with. I don't have medical training either to determine that. And it looks like you already took the liberty of ensuring your medication doesn't affect your work." All after assuming and lecturing me by answering the company policy of, "All medications need to be evaluated by your manager and HR." I managed to get HR to admit that they were in no place to make those determinations. Could not provide me the list, and embarrassed them for forcing me to out my disease to my manager, that I'm not embarrassed by, but would have rather kept to myself. They are already in some pretty hot water with our CEO for the way they speak with employees. Funny enough, this isn't their first time making assumptions, and the first time they did caused such an issue they gave me a bonus. The next story is called Only Man. I used to work for a temp agency. We specialized in labor and construction work, but really could recruit for any type of work. We had customers that often needed workers with different skills and tickets, and some customers were just downright misogynistic. One customer called later in the morning and said he needed 2 workers and would only accept men. I explained that due to timing I didn't have many workers available at short notice, but I have 2 women available that are very seasoned and strong, with great work ethics. He declined, so I sent him the other 2 men I had in the office, who were 2 of the laziest workers I had, hence why they were not already dispatched. The customer called me at the end of the day and said he needed 2 workers again tomorrow, but not those 2, as they were horrible. I again offered the ladies and said how they had been praised for past work. He begrudgingly agreed. The next day he called and said how they were some of the best workers he had ever had. They ended up working for him for 3 months, and he eventually hired them. The third story is called Safety Procedures. I'm a senior electrical engineer in the industrial sector. I started work at a huge firm a few weeks ago, and right off the bat, my superior did what was expected of me every quarter. Among the requirements was 1 safety violation report a month. I thought, okay, I could keep myself from messing up more than once a month. This is a large factory, with everything from spinning grinders to steaming corrosives, so obviously OSHA is a big issue here. But this isn't my first rodeo, so to speak. I generally know what I'm doing. So my first month goes by, and I keep everything nice and safe. At the end of the month, a one-on-one rolls around. The boss makes it clear, to my surprise, that the requirement is for me to file at least 1 safety violation a month. Obviously, I inquired how one could go about controlling safety violations, as they are inherently accidents. and if I had any way to influence their appearance, I would prevent them in the first place. But he just said I need to keep my eyes open. The violations will appear. Fine, I kept my eyes open, but honestly, everything seems perfectly in order. Everyone else in my department was ticking off safety violations one after another, and I was nearing the end of month 2 with nothing. I would go on walks looking for safety infringements instead of working. Something seemed off, so I looked into the safety violations report Excel, and I was just stupefied. This was a list of the most unbelievably inane infractions I've ever set my eyes upon. I'll give you some examples. Infraction: cabinet door was left open in this room. Someone could hit their head. Immediate mitigation: cabinet door closed. Future mitigation: add magnets to cabinet doors. There were countless other esoteric reports like unexplained puddle next to electrical cabinet or stack of cables on the floor. I couldn't believe it. These well-educated grown men and women are just writing nonsensical safety violations on absolutely nothing. I tried approaching one of the guys about it, but he just said to keep my eyes open and the violations will appear. They keep repeating it like it's a mantra, then changed the subject. I thought this was ridiculous enough, but then one day a report came in about a ladder missing one of the plastic caps on its legs. Immediate mitigation: plastic cap found elsewhere and secured in its place. Now, I was the last one to use this ladder the day before, and it was perfectly fine. This led me to my conclusion that this man was purposely sabotaging company equipment just so he could fix it and then write a safety violation report. I feel like I'm in an episode of The Office. Everyone I approach about this just brushes it off. Maybe it's because I'm the new guy. Anyway, I couldn't show up to my second monthly evaluation since the safety report. So I went to a random grounding cable, slightly unfastened the bolt, took a picture and then fastened it back in place. I wrote a report about it, and the OSHA guy commended me in person for my vigilance. Is this a department-wide grift? Are the managers unaware of this farce, or are they playing along? Usually this would be a huge red flag, but everyone is otherwise really nice, and the pay is great. The last story is called Not Cheating. Back in the 1980s, when I was in high school, we were not allowed calculators, and we could only write pre-test notes on the front and back of a 3x5 note card. Formulas, important dates and details. That sort of thing. The teacher would gloss over topics and then expect us to know details for the exam. So I used a red pen to fill out as much as I could, and then I used a blue pen to refill the same card as much as I could. We had to line up and show our teacher our 3x5 card before the exam started. He sees mine and was shocked, because it just looked like a blur of red and blue ink scribbles. Other students saw it and couldn't understand what I had done. The exam time starts and I rip out my 3D glasses. My teacher then comes over and demanded that I not cheat. Since I technically only had one card, the same as everyone else, it was not cheating. He gave in and I passed the exam. But did I have a headache after a 2-hour exam? And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.